Live, how would you find an off-market property when it's off-market? Doesn't make sense. But stay tuned. We're going to teach you about pre-market and how to find these puppies.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Mark Novak, episode 534, how to find off-market, pre-market properties for sale when they're off-market. So it's a bit of a tricky one, because how can you see something that's not there? But there are ways, and Mark and I will be sharing that today, because you can basically if it's hard to find, then less people are going to find it, and you may be able to get a better price for a property that you're looking to buy. You may be able to get something that you didn't know that was out there. There's a lot of value in it, and with the increase in social media, we're seeing more and more properties getting sold, not on the traditional portals like realestate.com and Domain. And we throughout the term, we like to use the word pre-market, but off-market, pre-market, before market, all the same crap. Basically means
let's get the language right first. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get the language right first.
I agree. So
why don't we use off-market terminology at Novak?
Well, it's a little bit, there's still even two terms within it. It sort of sounds dumb. It's like it's off-market, but you can buy it. Well, it's like, is it for sale or is it not for sale? So we found pre-market was a far better descriptive term, and a bit of when you're sitting with a client, it's like, this is what we do before, because it's pre-market. So, and we've sort of found that was a much better description term. And to be honest, it's different. I look at off-market as there is no intention to go to realestate.com, and pre-market is you do intend to, but there's an early access, basically.
So off-market is when you have a buyer and you walk up with that buyer to a seller's door and you knock on the door and you go, hey. So there's absolutely no intention at all. Not a signboard, not an internet ad on the agent's website, not a brochure, not a phone call, nothing. You actually join up, you specifically go out on a one-buyer crusade and you match a seller's property up. That is off-market. And what shits me is I see for sale signboards up saying off-market.
Yeah.
Like there's a for sale sign in front of the property. That's not off market. It's what are you doing? Pre-market activities that we do are probably the best way to explain. And I think a really nice way to also look at it is there's traditional marketing, which is realestate.com.au, auction campaign, domain.com.au, brochures done on the property, photo shoot, floor plan. That's cool. That's your traditional shit. That's in the on the market campaign. Whereas the pre-market is all that stuff that you do like before it goes out to the portals and stuff like that. It's the speedy stuff. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a destination, but it can be a journey. We go pre-market before we go on the market. So then, for instance, today, Michael, we are all going to see 5 or 6 new properties we've got for sale. And the realestate.com ads haven't rolled out, but our social media in our hands, on our phones, at the property has. That's pre-market.
Yeah, and I think with more and more properties being sold this way, buyers are sort of thinking to themselves, well, how do I know? There's no one avenue I can go to. Like realestate.com, You just log in and you see you don't even have to log in. You see all the properties for sale. And let's say if only 1 in 10 properties were being sold pre-market, off-market, and now let's say 3 or 4%. I know Lisa has a huge percentage of properties being sold pre-market. It's like, well, I don't want to miss out on them. So how do I find that? And let's say you're not looking at buying on Northern Beaches, you don't know to come to us. How would you find which agents? Because you can go to an area and there's 2,000 agents, 3,000 agents who are selling property. So like, do you have to call them? Do you have to go see them? It can be an absolute shit fight for a buyer to try and find that agent who's doing the deals, because a lot of agents are not doing that deal. So Mark, let's message to the buyers out there. They may be in a different area in the Northern Beaches, so they can't come to us. Where would you start?
I would be registering my name, my email, my phone number with all agents. Every agent I come across, I would give them honest information, real name, real email address, real phone number. I would give time to the real estate agent explaining what you're after. I would then follow those agents on social media, because by chance there's going to be one social media ninja out there as well. What's Lisa got to say? She's got a lot to say this morning.
Yeah, she said that. I have a lot to say. I disrupted the industry doing pre-market, off-market, as I saw there was no options out there for sellers and buyers. Agents started doing off-market selling via their database as they had to compete with competition as a result to social media strategy. Many agents never built their social media presence, so they're competing with their database. It's not strong enough, though they hit the brick wall quickly. It's true. The agents that are building the off-market strategy on their database only without socials will find it simply not sustainable.
Rubbish.
It's true, because
what changed?
Sorry?
What changed? Where the hell did this come from? Like, what the hell? Like, where it came like guns blazing. So much stock that's actually selling now pre-market before it goes to realestate.com, before it goes to domain.com.au. What changed? Why didn't it happen 5 years ago?
It's just like with the technology, and everyone's very slow to implement. It's just like Uber Eats. That technology was sort of around for a lot. It could have been implemented 10 years ago, or even the QR codes with COVID. There's a lot of stuff out there that just takes a while for it to implement. Just takes one person, a company, to really give it the push, and then it sort of gets the ball rolling. And I generally believe that's what happened with a lot of the social media, because people were already doing it, just not doing it as effectively. Like, people have always, forever, been doing off-market or pre-market, but it may have just been, as Lisa says, to the database. But it was just a phone call previously. But then there was this huge tool, Facebook, which nearly, I think, 70% of Australians have it. So it was a bit almost like, it's one of those things that when you see it or it happens, at the light goes, why didn't I think of that 2 years ago? It's just like an aha moment. And that's because when you look at other avenues, like realestate.com, it's expensive. Domain, it's expensive. They're great, but they do cost a lot of money. And then when you sit back in an owner's position, sometimes they need a different option, and it was only your database. So then it was just a plug into that. And then it's just, with the amount of people on it, the effectiveness, and it's free, it's one of those things, it's free to try. So I think that's been
the audience. It's free. You see, I think a seller or an agent gets this really friggin' confused, because when you say it's free, it's owned. It's not free, as in a seller. Why wouldn't a seller just throw their property on Facebook and expect the same results? It doesn't happen, because there's It's like a news channel. If I start channel 16, it's free. Set up the channel, off I go. But you've got to build a following, just like a radio station, just like a television station, for people to turn to that channel and watch that channel. So then suddenly when you advertise something on there, it's valuable. Do you know what I mean? So I know everyone thinks, oh, yeah, social media is for free. Anyway, it's not about social media.
It's not.
Tell me, Burge,
the point was
a bad idea, well executed. A good idea, badly executed, is not as good as a bad idea, well executed. So pre-market and off-market, why it's been around, say, 10, 20 years, but you honestly think that's the answer? It's timing?
Yeah, but let's get what we're talking about, how to find these properties. So a key thing, what you touched on before, is look at agents, speak to agents and give your data. We're finding more and more people are being a lot more transparent. Many years ago, even when I started, people were always private numbers calling, always wouldn't give a phone number on a property inquiry. But these days I find more and more you're getting all the information, because I think just with everything these days, we're so connected and we basically have very little privacy when it comes to anything with technology and our iPhone these days. So people don't have their guard up as much, and they know properties being sold off market, pre-market, so they want to be contacted. But a key thing I would do if I was a buyer in an area I didn't know anyone, you would start with your realestate.com sold properties. Grab a few of the addresses, look at the agent. Then jump on, as you're saying with the channels, jump on that agent's profile and see if they are marketing or doing any teaser ads out there saying coming soon, pre-market. And then I would do that to your top 20, 30 agents and create a bit of a hot list. And because they're the ones using this, because a lot aren't using it. And then I would be calling them, meeting with them face to face, and basically say, I see you do a lot of pre-market, off-market stuff. I want to be contacted for that type of stuff as well. And that way you've got a bit of a targeted approach. Otherwise, you've just gone through like the yellow pages calling every agent, and I'd rather talk to less, but pinpoint it. That would be the biggest thing I would do. Because as you said, the proof's in the pudding. They're going to say they do off-market deals. They're going to say they do pre-market deals. They're going to say they do social media. But then you look at their page and it's like one post a month ago. It's like, well, shit, well, you're not really, are you? So you need to look yourself. That's how I'd find these agents. Okay. People want intervals. They said build the relationship. First they laughed, then they copied. Lisa is on the soapbox, fire up. It's nothing to do with VPA. People want options. Social media fingerprints. Yeah, that's a good one. Social media fingerprints. Everyone's page and channel is very unique to themselves.
It's massive. It's massive. So I think, look, and also don't forget, if you look at the way we used to do business, was we would walk into real estate agencies' offices, have a chat, see what they got. And the way that we're doing it now is the way we're walking into the real estate office and having a chat with them is digital. It's a digital door knock. So, you're actually start consuming those agents' information, property, interact with them, become friends with them, just like they did 50 years ago, 30 years ago, and 15 years ago. That basic contact with a real estate agent, someone who's in the industry to get those properties, whether you're doing it digitally or in person, just make that contact. I reckon that's the big thing, and it's definitely a polar opposite how shit's changed, compared to just 5 or 10 years ago. So I think also when it comes to selling, Michael, the value of an agent that knows digital is massive. It's just massive. The reach is huge.
Yeah, even more so. I'm seeing buyers posting on their social media in the group saying, I'm looking to buy this, I'm looking to buy this. So it's just been a game changer, that whole avenue. But the key thing is for people to have a bit of direction, because we all know you could jump on Facebook and then be lost. 2 hours later, you haven't found what you want because you got distracted. So it's a bit of a minefield with distractions or good on social media. So hopefully that can help buyers find out, because everyone sort of wants to be involved and have the opportunity and get that phone call for pre-market stuff. And more now than ever, deals are being done that way. Anything else you want to add to that? Lisa, Luke, for the comments?
Mate, I'd love to add, if this is what it's done in the last goddamn 3 years, what's it going to do in the next 3 years? It's bloody scary. Like, look at the shift. Look at the swing that pre-market has and digital has had in the last 3 years. We've actually, without realizing, we've really educated ourselves a lot. Like the amount of people I see senior that are highly digital at the moment due to COVID, I've just never seen that take up of tech. It's phenomenal.
That's right. Thank you, everyone.
See you, legend.